Good afternoon, all. How we doing? Afternoon, Alex. Afternoon, Guido. Afternoon, David. Afternoon, Diamond. Let's go again. Let's go again. How we all doing? Big moves on the US dollar. Big moves everywhere. Afternoon, Rob, Anna, Fletch. How we all doing? Yeah, big market moves this afternoon. We have had, obviously, the PPI and unemployment claims, all negative US. So it's very marginal, though. 239 on a 233 forecast for the unemployment claims is not a lot, at 6,000. So it's not a big miss. PPI figures were a big miss, though, 0.5%. They were forecasting an increase, and we actually got a 0.4% decrease. So that's not good. Core PPI was a 0.3% miss as well. So more negative news on the US. All we need is for retail sales to be down tomorrow, and that's pretty much the end of the US dollar. We'll all be spending rubles. So yeah, big misses all over the place. Well, what's Macklem saying? Rates may be raised if we get stuck on the path to 2% CPI. Rates may be raised if we get stuck on the path to 2%. All right, so if we don't get CPI coming down as much as expected. Apart from that, no other news. The ECB basically have come out as well this morning and said inflation reading is what's going to determine the May hike, which we kind of knew. So it's between a 25 and a 50 basis point hike. So it is a hike, which is bullish euro, but not sure on which, and they'll wait for the interest rate, for the inflation figure to determine whether or not they're going to use it. The other important news we've had is oil. So OPEC data shows oil cuts will cause wide shortfall in supply, meaning nothing but up for oil prices. So demand has increased by 2.3 million barrels a day this year, and we've had cuts in supply. So demand is up, supply is down, prices up. So that's positive news for oil, which is what we were expecting, that $95 to $107 a barrel. So we're still absolutely miles away from that, but obviously bullish. So we're coming out. Where are we coming up to? I need to clear my charts because there's too many lines now. So we're coming up into resistance here at the moment. You see that? Yeah. So we're coming up to that resistance level, looking back up into that propulsion gap and beyond, basically. So $95 a barrel is right up the top. And that's our kind of new forecast from everybody. Afternoon, Brian. Afternoon, Crom, Freeman, Adrian, James. How are you all doing? So obviously off the back of that news, we've had quite a few ADR hits today. The Dow did its thing. Look at that. So if you've entered the market at all today, long or short, you're dead. Just liquidated everybody. Double-ended stop run. So I'm anticipating a run up today on the Dow. Back into that propulsion gap, but we'll see what happens with the US dollar when we open with the US dollar. So US dollar today, obviously a firm downward movement, still coming down on the US dollar CAD. US dollar Swiss also coming down hard. US dollar yen coming down hard. Euro US pumping hard. Pound US not quite so much actually because the pound's weak. But so yeah, everything US down, everything indexes should re-up if we carry on going that way. So afternoon, Luke, Henry, how we're doing? Tom, good evening, guys and girls, of course. Yes, we have to have girls. Virginia, afternoon. So yeah, we'll see what happens, but not looking good for the US at the moment. I've just been quickly looking through the set files, what the set files are up to. The ADR reversal set files banked 0.7% today with the market reversal alerts EA. So that's doing very nicely. 1.5% drawdown. H1, we've dropped 1.5% today. So lots of drawdown control being done today. Obviously, all the US dollar positions long, everything basically that's squeezing at the moment, obviously just scaling out. So dropping some profit today, just getting rid of some of that drawdown, which puts everything back into reach. We're going to close out a bit, hopefully, on the pound New Zealand today on that one. H4 mean reversion, done a little bit of drawdown control on that as well. And the hedging set file, that's actually made a little profit, but still sitting in 11% of drawdown. So this will all flip very, very quickly back to profit. But we need to wait for all these squeezes to finish. So at the moment, the Dow's putting back inside. The other indices as well, NASDAQ, we had a little bit of a rally up on the NASDAQ, and the S&P had a little bit of a rally, obviously, on the US drop. The Dow obviously went both ways for some reason, so they decided just to liquidate everybody there. DAX, nowhere really today. We've just gone sideways for the entire session today on the DAX. So the DAX has been pretty much a hideous, choppy mess today. So we did get a breakout of the downside, pushed down, pushed back up. Obviously, the news spiked it straight up into there. So literally gone nowhere on the indices at all today. All horrible. There you go. Afternoon, Diri. I don't know. Can't say your name. Sorry, Dirigi Basha. I can't say your name. I'm useless for names. Right. So we'll have a look at all these ADRs. See if there's any opportunities on these. We've got quite a few weekly ranges now. Obviously, we've got a few 125 extensions as well. It is Thursday afternoon, so you've only got tomorrow for these to play out. So looking at the Swiss yen, that's a fairly nice push since Monday. We've literally done nothing but scream to the upside. Literally, bull day, bull day, bull day, bull day. Yeah. We are starting to revert now. So I got a short one up there this morning on the Swiss yen. That was a ADR hit as well. M5 reversal alert there. Beautiful reversal alert. Straight in, bang, straight down. No retest, just off. So that's doing very nicely. We got that propulsion gap up there. So we could get that retest and then drop back down again. But that's coming down nicely. So that's a weekly RSI extension. We've got these beautiful big targets down here. I must get my other indicators sorted. I haven't had my chance to work on that today, so we can see these a bit clearer. But yeah, so all looking good. Swiss yen started to roll over. If you look at all these yens, we've had a fair bit of strength on the yen today across the board. So everything against the yen is coming down. So everything's piling out of the US dollar and into the yen, basically, by the looks of things at the moment. The Swiss franc as well. Euro obviously has come down very, very hard against the Swiss franc. CAD Swiss down, Aussie Swiss down. So, you know, this is, there's no reason why this should be, but this is looking like a safe haven run. This is typically what we see when the banks have a problem or there's some kind of issue in the world. We get runs into the yen and runs into the Swiss franc for safe haven. So I'm waiting for the fear and greed index to come out this afternoon, just to see where we are, because we went into greed. Can't go back any further, but we went into greed the day before yesterday. So this is kind of a fear scenario we're going into, and I suspect it's because we're seeing all of this negativity from the US. People are just withdrawing from the US and pushing into the other currencies, and obviously the safe havens, if you don't know where to put anything, that's where you put it. It's a little bit like when you're trading crypto. If you don't want to be in any cryptocurrency, you put the whole lot in dust, don't you? So it's kind of like that. You stick everything in the yen and the Swissy. Afternoon outro. Johannes running the OLB this afternoon. Yep. So I'm running the OLB on the Dow this afternoon. There's no news coming up this afternoon that will affect the markets. So we should just get a normal trading session for once, hopefully. So 5-minute opening range is what I'm playing. If you're playing pre-market 15, you are short, straight down into that propulsion gap, which is bouncing at the moment. We've got a little propulsion gap at the top there as well. So we'll keep an eye on this. The Dow today, we'll have a quick look at the Dow before we look at the ADRs and everything, actually. So I got a bit of I think I've got a man flu coming. A bit sniffy today. I'm pre-market 5 minute on the NAS outro. Oh, you're on the NAS, are you? On your pre-market 5 minute. Well done. Good job. So that's 26. That's nearly a 1-to-1. I've suddenly got a cold appeared, literally in the last 2 minutes. I feel like I'm going to sneeze constantly. I'll try not to sneeze all over the mic. It might be quite disgusting. Now has broken to the downside. NAS has gone to the upside. No idea, one way or the other. So that's looking pretty nice at the moment. Dow levels today. So the DAX levels that we looked at this morning, we didn't do anything basically, did we? So we are completely and utterly sideways on this thing at the moment. Targets still stand, upside and downside. So if you are trading the DAX, either or. The Dow at the moment, upside target is 125 ADR, which is yesterday's high, which is the spike off of the news. Downside target, difficult to tell. We opened at yesterday's low, so we've already traded there. So once we get out of yesterday's low, we've got this kind of stepping stone, 125 on New Zealand US. We'll have a look at those in a sec. We've got this kind of stepping stone pattern running at the moment where the Dow has just been gradually pushing up. So any one of those could become a target on the way back down. So the obvious spot you've got is this low from Tuesday, which is kind of the pullback before they took that leg up, which is this propulsion gap. So we've got a propulsion gap target there, which is a previous kind of support resistance area. Failing that, that is our most recent support, which is 125 ADR. So if we are going to get any kind of pullback on the US dollar, i.e. we're going to get some kind of reversal happening on this weakness that we're seeing on the US. ADR, Euro US dollar, doesn't look like it, does it? Because Euro US has just hit ADR. So if we're going to get any strength on the US dollar, that will drive these indices down hard. So at the moment, I would anticipate more of an index run today because we're seeing so much weakness in the US. But we've had all this weakness in the US, so it's quite possible they're going to run out of strength and then start to pull back up. So you can see the US dollar CAD here, drawdown control is underway. The EA is doing all this drawdown control automatically. So we're just scaling out gradually out of these three positions that have got on. So 1, 2, 3, all three of them have done drawdown control today, bringing that average down. So looking for a push up basically. Probably going to take a fourth position on this one. What is it? 67. That's going to be quite tight. Where's the trade gone? There. Oh, that's going to be tight. I might have to take a manual on this. Basically, an ADR is 67. If we get a reversal alert here off of ADR, that's going to be somewhere around about 60 to 65. So I will probably take a manual on that US dollar CAD. I'm just going to stick an alert there just to remind me. Let's play that one. I'll do it on a 5-second timeout. Oh no, 10 seconds. I don't know what noise that is. I've got a feeling it's something like a Star Trek. Okay. All right, I think I'll just do that once. Okay, you can shut up now. All right. Oh my God, it's just triggered. Oh, let me just turn that down. Jesus. How to pick the most annoying alarm for your OT4. Right, so we're getting a reversal alert. I'm not going to get in that with the EA because it's too close. So that's a 44. 57. Shut up, alarm. Right, so I'm just getting ready to get in with a 0.57 long on that. Hello, Dow. There's your 5-minute opening range breakout today. Thank you very much. I'll take that. Okay, well, that would indicate some serious strength coming through on the US dollar. Wow, look at that. Complete divergence on the NASDAQ and the Dow. Well done, Altro. Altro's just made an absolute fortune. He took the 5-minute pre-market open. Thank you very much. I'm on the 5-minute ORB short. 451. It's already trailed into break-even territory, so wow. Big volatility this afternoon. I just want to watch this US dollar CAD. Okay, so that's completely rejected that push up there. Got 1 minute to the close. So I'm just going to put a manual here. Manual buy stop in there on a break of that M5 reversal alert, because I'm not going to get that on with the EA, and this average is getting a bit too far away, so I want to get some size on it. US dollar yen ADR, this US dollar is still coming down. Look, the yen is obviously powering up quite massively as well, so and the Swiss franc. Pound odd ADR, God, this is going to be a busy session, isn't it? Right, let's get organized. Let's look at these ADRs to start with. So pound New Zealand's just closed out in profit. So there's that trade complete. One scale out, one drawdown control, and an exit at 125 ADR. So that's brought that down a little bit. Right, so Aussie dollar, US dollar. Let's start there. Aussie dollar, US dollar, ADR to the upside. Oh, sorry, one sec. I've just put a new, by the way, for anybody that's interested, on the website now under the live room tab. The live room now plays here as well, if you want to see it here. So I've stuck it there, so it will automatically pick up the latest live stream, so you can watch it on the website if you want to. Or not any reason why you would watch it on the website, because easy to watch on YouTube. But anyway, afternoon, Danny. So let's have a look at these ADRs. Can't spell odd. So first one we've got today is Aussie dollar, US dollar. So big sell at the moment on the Aussie dollar, US dollar. Now, I would potentially look at this as, with this, all this data we're seeing here basically is before all this bad news has come in about the US dollar. So there is a possible chance that this US is going to continue to drop. So we need to be a little careful with anything you take on the US at the moment, but this is a sell, a strong sell. So at the minute, we're extended above ADR. We're extended on RSI above the 80 level. So this is a very strong sell opportunity. You've got a lovely support, resistance area coming up at 150 ADR as well. So looks like a good short to me at the minute. Australian dollar is fairly weak. Drop down M5, wait for that reversal alert, which you'll get shortly there. And you've got propulsion gap targets to fill to the downside. So that looks like a nice one above 100. All the time this US dollar is dropping, though, this will continue to push. So hopefully we get some nice sort of market structure movement up to that 150 ADR level. And that'll give you a double top up there. Yeah, so that's the ideal, getting up to there. We've got this propulsion gap as well. So if the ideal would be to extend beyond 150 ADR, fill that propulsion gap, get a reversal alert there, you'll be out of that very, very quick. So looks good. Aussie US, wait for the reversal alert though, that's still pushing. CAD Swiss. CAD's dropping on the back of Swiss franc, obviously. Afternoon, John. Afternoon, Yarp. Sorry, missed you there. So yeah, big moves down on the Swiss franc. Everything's moving down against the Swiss franc. We've got this massive, great propulsion gap left in place up there. We've got a big one there, which is unfilled. We've got one there, which is unfilled. We've got this one, which is only partially tested. We've left another one there. Stupidly big upside targets on all of this. The Canadian dollar will strengthen up with the oil prices. However, it will also weaken along with the US dollar. So at the moment, we've got a conflict of interests with the CAD because the CAD has got a reason to power up and it's also got a reason to drop. So obviously with the Swiss franc having runs into it at the moment with the yen, this is coming down very, very hard. So as soon as that Swissy eases off and we've had a big, strong drop in the US dollar, everything should start to mean revert. So this is a good looking long as well. Euro New Zealand's just hit ADR as well. We'll get to these in sequence. So CAD Swiss, again, nice looking extension. We've got beautiful support coming up down here. So again, lovely targets to the upside on this. If it does continue to push, we're going to be extended beyond the 80 level on the RSI, which will give you that option, that opportunity to get out. It's not going to get down to 2, well, say that. Depends how long they pile into the Swiss for, but unlikely to get down to 200 ADR. You never know. So good looking opportunity there. Drop down again. M5 reversal alert. Very tight. In, out. Just look for a third of an ADR if you're taking ADR reversals. New Zealand dollar Swiss longs already playing out. CAD Swiss already got one on the CAD Swiss. Yeah, so yeah, 23. So next reversal I'm going to get in anyway because already got one on. We had an ADR hit yesterday. Got in on that one, accumulated, pushed up a little bit, didn't quite get to a third of an ADR, and we've collapsed today. So second entry will be taken there and then the exit on the pullback on today's move. So I should be getting into that one anyway. So yeah, CAD Swiss looks good. Swiss yen, massive push down. Sorry, that's CAD yen, Swiss yen. Big. Oh, sorry, that's an ADR hit to the upside. Already in short on this. So that's an ADR hit to the upside. Reversal up there, you can see already taken that trade and it's absolutely collapsing. So be lovely. Look at the strength of this Swiss franc. So this is a good gauge. Obviously, we've got money flowing into the Swiss franc at the moment. We've got money flowing into the yen at the moment. The fact that Swiss yen is coming down just shows you how strong that yen is today. Yeah, the Swissy is killing everything. The yen is killing the Swissy. So everything is piling into the yen at the moment. So that's coming down very, very, very fast. Average on there is just about where we are at the moment. Target is going to be somewhere around there will be target on that one. So that's already played out. You've missed that. Euro Swiss. That one you've just had the reversal alert on there. That one's starting to play out. Big propulsion gap target to the upside there. Again, what's the distance on that? 25 is half an ADR. Euro pound has just hit as well. Do I want to take another one there? I'm going to leave that for the minute. Just because of the Swiss franc being so strong at the moment. Euro pound, that's literally just hit ADR to the upside. Already got a sell on that, so I'll be getting into a second position on that one. So that's absolutely flying. Euro's flying along with the Swissy. 150 ADR on pound New Zealand. Really wish I hadn't got out of the pound New Zealand. Never mind. There's 150 ADR on that one. Euro New Zealand. Opportunity to go long on Euro New Zealand as well. Sorry, yeah, long on Euro New Zealand. Got a sell on that one at the moment. That is an H1 M5 mean reversion from Tuesday. So looking for that to come pull back down into here, the exit. But there's a potential mean reversion back up into there. So continuation down like that. Euro US dollar off to the races. Obviously this US dollar's in massive trouble at the moment. Huge propulsion gap target there. We've got big propulsion gap targets down there as well. Probably going to take a while to get down to those, but that is certainly achievable. That is definitely achievable. So good mean reversion opportunity there. Again, drop down M5, wait for the reversal alert. Entry there. Target there, which is 40 pips. Half an ADR is 42, so you should be able to get that easily. Pound odd. Hit to the downside. All these pounds coming down really hard as well, aren't they? So pound odd, you got a reversion opportunity there. That one's also extended on the hourly, coming into that propulsion gap fill. However, reckon we're coming down here. So you can take this, obviously, and there's a very good chance you're going to get a third of an ADR pullback on it, which is all you're going to need if it's an ADR reversal. But that is where I would expect us to come back to, and probably there, and quite possibly out the bottom. It's not going to go, well, it shouldn't really go parabolic all the way down to here without having some kind of rest. So we're nicely extended on the hourly. So any kind of pullback like that, is all you're going to need to get out of the positions, as you can see. So it's exactly the same trades as I took here. Yeah, ADR extension, third of an ADR. ADR extension, third of an ADR. ADR extension, third of an ADR. ADR extension, you're just looking for that pullback in the opposite direction this time on the way down there. So pound odd looks good. Although this is really coming down hard at the moment, the pound, so just be a little careful. Pound Swiss, that's coming off the lows at 150 ADR. Reversal alert's probably just about to trigger on that. Yeah, so that will be triggering in a second, the reversal alert on that one. Bit of an odd one, this one, because the low is created by the same candle. So as soon as you get close above there, that's fine. Trade up to the propulsion gap here. Looking at the levels on this, again, this Swiss is very, very strong. So you've got a nice support coming up down there and a propulsion gap fill there. So push up, down, that sort of movement. So any kind of pullback into this area here and then potentially drop back down into there. So that's good for an ADR reversal. Again, M5, you're just about to get that one in a second. It's just about to trigger. And that's nicely extended as well, 125 ADR. 150 pound New Zealand, so this is the biggest extension of the day so far, along with the US dollar Swiss. So that's just hitting 150 ADR. Just got out of all the shorts on that. Nice propulsion gap targets to the upside. Reversal, that's a bit far away at the moment, but that is also very extended now. We're down to 20 on the RSI. 175 would be absolutely perfect. If we could get a reversal down at 175, that would be lovely, because you're also now going to have a big propulsion gap formation there. And if this continues to sell off down to there, you're going to get a propulsion gap there. So this entire move is basically one massive propulsion gap that they're going to come back and retest into. So really good looking opportunity on the pound New Zealand. We're going to need some strength out of the pound though. Just seeing what Pill's been saying. Slower increase in unemployment. That's positive. Positive demand shock could be on the way. We are waiting against inflation at the current levels of interest. I see higher UK natural rate of unemployment. So nothing exciting being said about the pound. So this is literally just coming down off the back of this morning's moves. So took all the majors versus Swiss this morning. CAD Swiss, pound Swiss, struggling. Others are okay. Yeah, we just got to wait for them to start pullbacks. Afternoon, Joaquin. Have we got another Joaquin? Have we got two? Oh, no, it's Johannes, isn't it? Sorry, too many names. Now New Zealand, so that's nicely extended. New Zealand dollar CAD. Big extension to the upside. Propulsion gap fill underway at the moment. That height has just been taken, so good opportunity to pull back. This is a huge propulsion gap, which is about to form in the next 8 minutes. So you're going to get a whacking great propulsion gap target there for a short. So M5. It's a bit far away, but I mean, it is what it is. Nice extension on the hourly. If this gets a little bit more extended, we got this big propulsion gap target to the upside there to aim for as well. So I suspect what we'll do is that kind of movement. However, we're in a big downtrend on this at the minute. So the danger here is that all they do is that kind of movement. And then they may pull down, but what we might see is kind of a flag and then a break further up. Yeah, because we've got kind of an arcing move. This is starting to fall out of bed fairly quickly, isn't it? So don't like that as much as the others. It's not the most extended either, but it is what it is. So it should mean revert anyway, but we'll see. The problem with this one is, if you look at it on M15, this is kind of where the break started. Your reversal alert is very close to where you are likely to find some support. So it's not the cleanest break in the world you're going to get. You're going to be selling straight into a load of potential buyers, but we'll see. New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Very, very extended. Massive extension on the 5-minute RSI. Hourly is above 80. So again, looking at this one, we don't get up there very often. When we do get up there, we get the pullback. So we're up extended. That's where I'd like to see it. If we can get an extension up into that 150 to 175 area and get a nice tight reversal out there, you got a huge potential drop on that one. So that looks pretty good. New Zealand US. US CAD extended to the downside. Looking to get into another position on that in a minute. So there's that wick, look, that massive spike we saw. Yeah, push down even further now. So still coming down, US dollar CAD. Really nicely extended now, down below the 20 level on RSI. So be getting into another one on that one as soon as we get some signs of strength coming through. US dollar Swiss, big extension. Just had the reverse alert on that, just bought again. M5, there's your entry. Oh. It's terrible, this platform. This terminal's got data issues, basically. So there's your reversal alert. That's the entry. So looking for pushback up into there. We need this Swiss franc to take its foot off the gas and let the US do its thing. But yeah, in another one there, 150 ADR. So that is the second strongest one of the day. Pound New Zealand and US dollar Swiss 150s. We're getting down to, you know, very rarely getting beyond this level now. So US dollar yen, massive extension below 10. Obviously, this is the perfect storm at the moment. The yen is the strongest currency by far today. Everybody's rushing into the yen. Everybody's rushing out of the US. So this is the perfect storm. US yen, absolute cataclysmic, parabolic drop through the floor. So 4 minutes time, you're going to get the mother of all propulsion gaps there. We're tapping into this one. So I see this potentially going further today. So we might get back down to 125, maybe a little bit further, but that's where we're going to come back up into. We've also got this unfinished business up there as well at 125 ADR. So big, strong push on that. Looking for a pullback, push back up again. So that is good as well. So loads of opportunities across the board there. If you want to be a little safer with all the trades, you can look at the buyer scorecard and take only those that are not opposing a strong buy or sell, and look at everything range bound, as you should be okay. But obviously with everything piling into these yens at the moment and this Swiss franc, it does look like a bit of a safe haven run. Don't appear to be getting the fear and greed index through this afternoon. I'm curious today. I'm just wondering why there's so much money running into the yen all of a sudden. It's almost as if somebody knows something that we don't, as usual. When was the last one published? There we go. Yeah, so we were up in greed yesterday. 65 as well, as in proper greedy, which would indicate more likely US dollar strength. So something's really shifted today. I can't see that it's just off the back of this. I guess with yesterday's news as a combination of the two, maybe it is. But anyway, so there is all your RSIs covered. ADR lit up like a Christmas tree, greens and red everywhere. Dow, stopped out in profit, but very small profit on that. So I've stopped out on that with my trailer on that big pullback. Nice break to the downside though there. NASDAQ is also pulling back. So we're just pulling back into propulsion. Again, would expect us to get there before starting a new leg if we are going to do a new leg. There's your 15-minute opening range. Absolutely huge today. Your 15-minute opening range today is 116 points. That's over half an ADR in 15 minutes. It's a big move. I think they might struggle to get out of that today. It's either going to be one of those cataclysmic collapse days, or we're going to struggle and just range bound within that. So if we are going to drop out the bottom, it means we're going to need some strength on that US to do it. So we'll see. Be interesting to see what happens. John Wick has properly entered the building on the NASDAQ. If you're trading the NASDAQ, that's a really good looking range there for a break. So pending high, pending low. When that thing goes, we'll probably get some decent movement off that. Right, so the RSIs have all just updated. So this is a new hourly candle. I'm just watching this US dollar CAD because I don't want to get double triggered into it. If this is going to pull down and make a new low, the reversal alert's going to drop down to there, which means I will probably get an entry with the EA on this. So I don't want to get in twice. Just going to take that off for a minute and just replace it with an alert. I'll use a normal alert. That way it's not going to be annoying. Afternoon, PM. How are you doing? Euro Swiss ADR trade just closed. Good one. I just closed New Zealand dollar Swiss. Euro Swiss was already closed, I think. No, not in Euro Swiss. Never got in it. Not yet, anyway. Oh, that was a quick profit, wasn't it? Oh, yeah, okay. Why did this not get into Euro Swiss today? Interesting. Not quite sure why we didn't get in on that. That's interesting. So the reversal alert on this is actually just above the support rectangle, but bid would have been below. I have to look into that. Not quite sure why that didn't trigger that one. Anyway, never mind. My multi-day Swiss yen just closed out nicely too. Yeah, that was a nice, nice big strong push today on the yens. So we'll see if that holds and continues. I'll be interested to see if that actually pulls back and drops, or whether we are, starting the next leg up on this one. Very, very strong move. We've been waiting for some kind of profit take move on this Swiss yen. And that may well have been it on that way up. But the reason this is bouncing here is because all the trend line junkies have all just jumped in. So all the trend line junkies have just jumped in. However, they've drawn their trend lines because everybody draws them different. So that's why they don't work. And they're all going, woohoo, look at our bounce. And they've all put their stops there. So where do you think the price is going to go next? Probably by the end of this session. Let's have a look. Swiss yen. What's the sentiment on the Swiss yen? Oh, retail are all shorting it at the moment. It's a buy, Swiss yen. There you go. So maybe it won't come down. Afternoon, Carmo. What's up? I haven't said that for a while. What up? Right. Let's have a look at the RSIs. Let me just get rid of a spammer in the Telegram group. Right. So RSIs lit up like an absolute Christmas tree. There is only 1, 2, 3, 4 currencies that aren't. So might as well just go through the lot. There's no point in going through the dashboard because everything, is extended to crazy levels. So I might just clear my template because I've got so many lines now. There we go. It's turning into a little bit of a mess. So Swiss yen, let's not do that. Let's start up there. Aussie dollar CAD. So Aussie dollar CAD extended to the upside. I've just got rid of my lines, I've realized. Let me just quickly check my objects list. One sec. That's fine. I'm just going to put those lines back on quickly on my RSI. I'm going to use the 75 and the 25 because those are the levels that I mainly use. So, and I'm going to save that as my template now. Right. PM, my system didn't get me into the Aussie dollar yen. The journal shows the order was sent and then it got a requote. Well, have a word with your broker. Price was moving fast, hence the requote. Does the EA try to handle requotes? No. No. If you get a broker that requotes you, get another broker. That's such an old-fashioned thing, requotes. We don't get requotes anymore. There's very few brokers that do requotes. And if they do requotes, it's basically because they've taken the other side of your order and they've got a fill on it that they can't give you now because they won't make any money. They make a loss on it. So they requote you. So if you're using that type of broker, change broker. I haven't had a requote on a broker, I don't think, 5 years plus. It's a very old-fashioned thing. Modern brokers, you never get requoted. The order execution is so fast, you shouldn't really get them, but switch broker. It won't happen that often. IG, is that a spread betting account? Or is it an ECN connection? If it's a spread betting account, you will get requoted because it's not trading, it's gambling. It's spread betting. Yes, you're not trading, you're gambling. Spread betting, clues in the name, betting, is it's not normal trading conditions. You are basically gambling with IG. IG are taking the other side of your trade as a gamble in the same way as any bookmaker will. So don't use spread betting accounts. They're terrible. You also get a big spread a lot of the time on them. And you'll get requoted. That's why I've not had requotes for a long time, because I haven't done spread betting accounts for a long time. But they're tax-free in the UK, unless they become your main income. But you don't need to worry about that until they become your main income. And if they become your main income, hey, you can afford a broker. You don't want to pay tax on your profits. I would worry about that when you have to pay tax on your profits. You're not going to pay tax on your profits until you're profitable. So when you become profitable for a year, that's what I would say. Start thinking about it. But you've got to be profitable for a year first. But that is the advantage of spread betting accounts. What about City Index? I don't think I've ever used City Index. I don't use any UK brokers because there's no leverage, basically. So I would never use a broker that is UK regulated because I can't get any leverage with them. You're going to get 1 to 30, so they're no use to me. I think this is probably one of the few brokers I've never actually had an account with. But if it's a spread betting account, you'll get the same problems with requotes because the way that your orders are executed, you're not using any liquidity, tier 1 liquidity pools. It's literally, you might as well go and put a bet on a horse with Betfair. It's the same principle. These guys will they will take the other side of your trade, or they will match you with another trader executing at the same time. And because there's 2 parties involved, you've got to you've got to get the right. They've got to get the right price for you. With an ECN connection, what brokers tend to do is that you just get filled on your order. They will then put your order out at whatever price they need to get filled at, and someone somewhere will fill that order. So they will always make a bit in the middle because of the sheer volume that they're doing. With somebody taking the other side of your trade in that respect with spread betting, because the spreads are so much wider, you get difficult executions. So anybody like that, I would probably just try and steer clear of. Naz is running nice. Shame I got stopped out for half an hour. Oh dear, you got stopped out for a profit. It's horrible being stopped out for a profit. That's good though. Yeah, they're running very nice. Dow's pushing up into propulsion. It's on the cards today, isn't it? So I'm flat at the moment. I'm about to get long. See if we get up there. We'll be signing up for a prop soon. Still think my Forex funds? Well, Henry, what you can do is you can go to this page on my website. There, scroll to the bottom, and you can make up your own mind which prop firm you want to use, because you can now filter all of your prop firms, the ones that are any good, by lots of different filters when the thing loads, and basically pick the one you want. You make the decision based on your own requirement. So yeah, basically, my Forex funds or E8. It's still the same. Those are the top two. If you're not going to use an EA, feed or crest. So if you're going to manually trade, they are your guys, because they've only got 5% profit target. You can't beat that. You are going to pay $100 more for the privilege. So if there's two things to consider: profit target and cost. If you're more interested in profit target, feed or crest. If you're more interested in cost, my Forex funds. If you're more interested in passing on day one, E8. Those are your three prop firms based on those three conditions. Everybody has, they either want the cheapest, they want the best target, or they want to do it quick. Those are the three core factors that everybody, when they're doing a prop evaluation, has under consideration. They are the smallest target. They are the cheapest. They let you pass on day one. So do they actually. But you are going to pay a lot more for them than you will for them. And you'll pay a little bit more than them with them. Everything you need to know is down there. Whoa. And you've got a cost comparison of every evaluation there as well. So every single size of account. And then you can just click the links and go straight to whoever you want and sign up. Okay, long on the Dow. So we've just broken to the upside. So small profit on the short and now going long. So ADR potentially to the upside, which is going to mean, I think, a very weak dollar potentially this afternoon as well. I think we're probably going to come down a little bit more on the dollar. So be a little careful. Mind you, the dollar does seem to be pushing as well. Market's not making sense this afternoon, is it? We've got the dollar and the indices all pushing in the same direction. So I'll take it though. Yarp, derp. I use a London broker, Active Trades, who gives 1 to 200 leverage per Bahamas outlet. Yeah, so you're not regulated by. That's what I mean. You can use a company that is a UK company, but you're not regulated by the UK regulatory board if you are trading via a Bahamas outlet. You are regulated by the Bahamas. So you have no negative balance protection. Yeah. So that's just, you just got to be aware of that. The price you pay for leverage is negative balance protection. So if you get stuck in a black swan event, just cross your fingers, hide, run, move house. Profit's profit, I suppose. Yes, it is, definitely. You can take a screenshot of that requote. Maybe let IG know. Well, there's no point in taking a screenshot of the requote because you've signed a contract with IG to tell them to say that you're happy to get a requote. So you can send them a screenshot and they'll go, yeah, sorry, what were you expecting? You signed a contract. You also signed a contract that they will fill you at any price that they deem fit. It's in your contract with your broker. So there's no point in arguing with brokers. I've tried to argue with brokers in the past, and every now and again I've had one where they've gone, yeah, all right, yeah, that was a bit big, wasn't it, that spread? And they've reversed the trade. Probably once in 15 years, maybe twice. And that was a long time ago. Nowadays, with people like Robo Forex and Axie and that, it's instant execution. And if they spread you out, they spread you out. There's nothing you can do about spread. You signed a contract, like I say. You've told them, I give you complete legal rights to spread me by 150 pips if you want to and take me out. It's in your contract. Go read it. It's in all contracts. Bit naughty, but it's law. Right, so let's look at these ADRs. Dow is pumping. So long on the Dow on the opening range breakout, looking to come up into propulsion. somewhere. And obviously, potentially, you got an ADR hit to the upside today. Right, so Aussie dollar CAD. RSI is just about extended above the 70 level, so not the best opportunity in the world. You've got propulsion gap targets up at 100 to 125 ADR. That one's probably done. That one's definitely done. So if we can get an ADR hit on that today, good looking short, back down into propulsion, down into here. You've also got this down here as well. Overall, obviously, we're in a downtrend. So all looking good. Shorts, but not extended enough yet. So wait for it. If it gets more extended above that level, that's where I'd be interested in shorting it. Obviously, the EA will get you in on an ADR reversal or an H1M5 reversal anyway. So, but that looks good. Obviously, downtrend. Aussie dollar Swiss, absolutely nowhere. Going to come up into this propulsion for a fill. You got loads. I mean, you got targets. Look at all these targets to the upside. Look, unfilled. So I would say this is what, 3 weeks now, probably coming to the point where we're going to start some kind of pullback. So if you look at it on a higher time frame, we're looking for a pullback into the 24 to get all these gaps filled. So be more long than short on that, but it's just not ripe at the moment. Aussie dollar yen, nicely extended this morning, short already on that one, H1 M5, so hourly RSI extension. Actually, this is an got the wrong RSI on. I was going to say that is not an extension above RSI. Let me just resave that template. Actually, no, I'll leave it as 21. So yeah, RSI extension, M5 reversal alert in, short already. So there's your reversal alert. That's your entry. Looking for pullback down into that propulsion gap for an exit. Half an ADR is 48. That's 47, 48. So that's basically bang in the middle of that propulsion gap would be the exit on that one. Aussie New Zealand was extended to the upside this morning. I've got one short on that already. Didn't quite get a second on, unfortunately. Just shy, about 20 pips shy. So straight into propulsion. This old propulsion gap here, tested once, twice, 3 times. Then we tested just below it, retested again, big drop. We have still got that level up there though, so there is potential for this to be a pullback like that. So may need to get a second position on that. It may come down from that high and just go into a range. So new price discovery to the downside. We pushed up. So we'll probably do price discovery to the upside next. Fill that propulsion gap and then come back down from there. But if it just continues to collapse back down into here, fine. We've got a gap down there as well as a target too. There's no directional bias on this really. But I'm looking at this as being a continuation short still. So nicely extended on the 4 hour as well. So that's a 4 hour M15 mean reversion as well. So there's your 15-minute reversal alert as well. Aussie dollar, US dollar. Extended to the upside. So that's an ADR hit. RSI extension above 80. That's a really big one. What I'm going to do is also put an 80 in on this. And a 20. So extended above the 80 level, real big extension. Got a lovely high coming up, big propulsion gap target. That one I would say is filled. That one probably too. That one's open. So at the moment, there's only downside targets. That's very, very tight. So if we are going to move back up, looking for some kind of market structure to push up into the highs, best case scenario would be that to push up into the high today and get up to 150 ADR, stick your head out the top, and then you've got a lovely tight reversal alert to come back down into that propulsion gap. That would be perfect. But extended above the 80 level, don't get up there very often. When we do, we usually do a profit take. Yeah, so just waiting basically for the banks to get exhausted, run out of people that are willing to sell to them. And as soon as that happens, they'll profit take. The sellers will jump on board and make that profit take move happen. So waiting on that. Obviously, we're going to need some strength on that US dollar to do that. So again, to be seen as to whether that US dollar strength come through. CAD Swiss, just so many targets to the upside. This is really erratic at the minute. We've got the Canadian dollar is all over the place. It's been pushed and pulled around with the US, and obviously oil prices have been really hammering it. So we've got loads and loads of upside targets. We're coming back up into there. 90% sure we're getting back up to there at some point. We need the Swissy to leave off a minute. So at the moment, you've got these big old targets to the upside. So if the US dollar continues to drop, that's going to put pressure on the Canadian dollar. So we will probably find we get more downside on the CAD unless we get that strength coming through on the US. So that's your low. We're extended nicely down there. We were extended nicely down there as well. And all we've done is put in a flag break. Yeah, so we could get another flag break here, pushing down into these lows. If we get down to there, you're going to get a load of limit orders trigger. So on the higher time frames, your daily traders, the swing traders, they're all going to be looking for a double bottom bounce. Their limit orders will trigger there and push back up. But as you can see, this is a big, strong downtrend at the moment. We're pulling back into the 24.72 zone continuously and putting new legs in. So with the renewed strength in oil, there's a chance that we might get some independent movement on the CAD without the US dollar dragging it down. So we'll have to wait and see on this one. But like with everything, obviously, when we get these big, strong pushes to the downside, the market needs to pull back to take profit. So it's just a case of waiting for those to come in. There's a lot more upside targets than downside targets. That is where I'm expecting us to get up to. There's no reason why we shouldn't do that, and shouldn't really start it from somewhere about now. If you look at how long these typically take to fill out, you're normally looking around about a week to 2 weeks. Yeah. So sometime next week, we'll be up there, I reckon. But we'll see. Nicely extended at the moment, so good opportunity to enter. CAD Yen, I've got shorts on this, got 3 shorts on this at the moment. Middle of nowhere at the minute, so no real opportunities on it. Just started a double top, drop, reverse alert on the hourly, push back up into that propulsion gap, back down into these gaps. Loads of them. Obviously, all downside targets. So everything that we've had these big, strong moves on when we had the banking crisis and everybody like piled in and out of the yen and the Swissy, all those moves are going to get undone at some point. So it's just a case of waiting to see when those happen. If you look at it from a larger perspective, obviously this is the scale in, scale out. If we're going to continue this yen strength, obviously we should be looking really for that to be the deepest point of the pullback. That will be around about a 72 pullback. Yeah, there we go. So if this is a deep pullback and a continuation short, that's what I would expect us to do next. But we'll see. Again, all going to be based on whether or not we get this CAD strength along with the US dollar strength if it comes through. So Swiss yen nicely extended at the moment. There's your hourly entry in already. Huge targets to the downside. I'm almost tempted on some of these, you know, to turn off the targeting on the EA. So if you see some of these pairs where you've got so many downside targets, orphaned ones, they can take a while to get to, but when you've got so many targets to the downside, the EA is automatically going to get me out at $250 profit or half an ADR, which is going to be around about there. That's nowhere near targets. So if you want to, you know, if you come over to the EA, depending on how you've got it set up, obviously, and just temporarily disable the profit targets. Yeah, so I'm looking at $500, which is 0.5% or half of an ADR. So you can just basically get rid of those and leave them, or rather leave them as zeros. And all the EA will do is just stay in the trade. And then you can manually position your TPs, which is how I used to do it before I had the EA. You know, sort of manually go, right, that is going to be $941. That's 160. So, you know, it's $1,200 in profit there, whereas the EA is going to get me out with $500. So it's twice as much money, obviously. But that's a really obvious target. And even if it does push up for another leg, you're going to get an exit on it down to that target at some point. It's just maybe going to take another few days to do it. So you've got that option always, remember, especially if you've got a fair bit of drawdown on the account and you want to wait and get some decent money, you can always manually adjust it. But there's quite a few at the moment which are like that, with these big old propulsion gap targets and lots of them to the downside. So, you know, if you want to swing trade it for the next couple of weeks, all the way back down there. Can we see some of the lot sizes you're using? Yeah, there you go. Well, it depends on the lot size is dependent on your account. So the EA automatically calculates lot sizing. So all my set files are based on 0.25% risk on the account size, based on 1/2 of an ADR movement. So the EA does all the calculations done by the EA. You don't have to think about it. But if you want a rule of thumb, use 0.01 per $1,000 in your account for position trading, or 2,000, depending on the size of your account, depending how aggressive you are. But if you use the EA does it all for you. You don't have to worry about it. So you'll have a different lot size for every instrument. Yeah. So if you look at these ones where the risk is exactly the same. Yeah. This trade here on the Aussie yen and this one on the Aussie New Zealand, the risk is exactly the same. The risk is $500. No, sorry, it's $250 on 1/2 an ADR of movement. Yeah, can't spell today. So that's the risk. Yeah, but the lot size obviously is massively different. 1.27 there and 0.89 there. But the risk is exactly the same. Your lot size is going to be different based on the base currency pair, and the ADR of the pair and all sorts of things. So it's partly why people use EAs, because you don't have to worry about calculating stuff. Afternoon, Gable. How are you doing? So Euro odd extended at the moment a little bit towards the downside. We're nowhere near where I'd look to get into any positions. Flat on this, out, flat. See the trades that have been taken on it there. Shorts, there's a long there, a short there, another short there. It's just up, down, up, down, up, down. Nice big downside target there to aim for. Australian dollar seems to be powering up today. We got a little bit of strength starting to come through. So hopefully we'll get some decent movement from the Aussie. The euro, however, has just had news that we're going to go with a 0.25 to 0.5% increase in May. So that is bullish euro. So any weakness in the euro should really be temporary, because we've just had confirmation that they are going to increase rates, which is bullish. So continuation to the upside. But to continue to the upside, we've got to come down first. So that sort of movement. But if it doesn't get extended, there's no entry. How to get a propulsion gap indicator to MT5? I haven't got one. I use MT4. Sorry. Oh, hang on. Have I got one? Did I not find one and put it in the chat? Yeah, I did. It's in the chat in Telegram. WRB-hidden-gap.ex5. If you just search for EX5 in the chat file section, you'll find it. Because it's the only EX5 in there, because I just do not use MT5. So there's one in there in the Telegram channel. But bought the indicators to MT5. Well, if you want to use MT5, that's fine. The propulsion gap indicator is not mine, and the person that built it didn't build it for MT5, so can't help you there. Only my stuff that I build is available for MT5. If I didn't build it and it's not available for MT5, Google. Can't help you with that. But there is one in the chat. So if you want the propulsion gap indicator. ETA on the new indicator I showed yesterday, no idea. When I basically get it done. Green index is out, is it? Whoops. Yeah, so we're still in greed. I'm quite surprised by these movements today. So these movements that we're seeing today don't add up. So either the market has got wind of something and we're seeing a safe haven run, possibly a bank failure, and we're seeing a safe haven run, or this is a real overreaction to this negative US news. The market shouldn't be this aggressive today, but we'll see. This might be a trap. It's a trap. I need a meme for that, don't I? We need this guy, Admiral Akbar. Actually, I'm not going to play that because that will give me a copyright infringement. But anyway, yeah, we need Admiral Akbar, don't we? It's a trap. We need one of those for these types of day. EuroCAD, RSI extension yesterday on that one, entry short. We have got a propulsion gap to the upside, so they may come up and do that one first. Failing that, this is where I'm heading. Again, Euro, bullish. Canadian dollar, potentially bullish stroke sideways. So this isn't the strongest sell in the world at the moment. However, it is extended. So we got a little bit of a push down. If we push up into there, I'll take a second and get out on the drop. Weekly range on US dollar CAD. So that's coming down still. So let me just quickly adjust that entry. I'm going to get in automatically now. So the EA is going to get me in with a third position on that. That is now going to be easy entry, so I can get rid of that alert. So there's EuroCAD. Nice extension from yesterday, but came down upwards. Not really going anywhere, is it? Look. So we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days sideways now. Push up into there. Short it again if necessary. Click the right button. Euro Swiss. So that's an RSI extension to the downside. Almost got down to 80 on that. So again, this move is the same as that move. Yeah, looking for profit take move now. Same as that one. However, this one here, as you can see, we've got an RSI extension there and we just went into a 5-day accumulation. And that is exactly where I got into the first position on this and got stuck 5 days sideways. And all we've done since then is push down. So another entry's just gone in on that one, pushing down. So looking for a push back up into propulsion. Euro again, but the euro is never going to beat the Swiss franc. If there's a run for safe havens, it's coming down, which it is at the moment. Euro pound pushing up nicely, short on this at the minute. RSI extension to the upside, back up above 80 again. So nice little profit take move there, looking for the same thing back down into there. So I need to take a second position on this one, which I will get when we get a reversal alert. So again, drop down M5. That's going to be very tight, that. Might take another short on that one as well. We've got a very weak pound. I kind of want to get into this to give myself an exit because, mind you, we've got another high coming up. So we're not going to get there today, but we're likely to get a reaction probably here, I reckon, today. So we'll see. The reason I'm not so confident on this as a short now is because that move there is pretty much done. So this propulsion gap's kind of out of the way. This one here, we've already tested once, and there's certainly a lot of buying pressure back out of there. So when they accumulated here and broke, They defended that position and pushed out from it. Then we had another little accumulation and break. So it's very, very, very bullish at the moment because we've got a very weak pound. So for a quick exit on this, we'd probably want to take a quick trade back down into there. Just scaled out. Like, look at that. As if by magic, the EA scaled out while I was doing it. So yeah, looking for another entry on that. So that's now 0.97, isn't it? Calculator's not working, obviously. One sec. I'm just going to put a pending order on this. If this spikes me in and then doesn't actually give the reversal, I don't mind too much because that is pretty much an ADR, which is why we've just scaled out. So I will get into a second on that one. It's still pushing hard at the moment. So if the EA gets me in automatically, I'll cancel that pending off. In fact, what I will do is I'm just going to stick a little alert above that order just to remind me when we get there. So yeah, euro pound, good look, looking good. Very nice extension above the 80 level. Again, you know, looking back here, yeah, the vast majority of the time when we stick our head above the parapet on 80, we get a very big profit take. So again, push, profit take, move, push, profit take, move. That's what we're looking for. Push, profit take. Yeah, exactly where we are at the moment. So we will get that move to the downside. It's just how big is it going to be? So that's euro pound, euro yen. I'll quickly finish these euros up and I'll catch up on the chat. So that's nowhere at the minute. Short on it from, I think that was a short from Tuesday, yeah. So all we literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up days now in a row. Targets galore to the downside. So just waiting for some yen strength, which we haven't got at the moment. It's just starting to come through anyway. Euro New Zealand, short, now extended to the downside. So push up. So you could take a long on that. It's an ADR reversion as well as the other way. Look at that. Hit literally one extent of ADR to the other in 24 hours. Real strong movements today. Really strong. And good old euro US dollar. Extended to the upside above 80. Good propulsion gap targets to the downside. That's the best one. So look to come back down into there. We've also got this down here at some point as well. So market structure, very nice and orderly on this. Yeah, should be coming back down to here if we're going to put in another leg. That is if we've got US dollar weakness. If the US dollar strengthens, that could well be a reversion back down into there. There we go. So we're up to the euros. PM, for the ADR strats, do you have charts open for all pairs with the EA loaded? Yes. Yep, that's what the EA is for. Handle all entries and exits. That's the whole purpose of the EA. You stick it on the charts you want to trade and let the EA trade it. For the ADR strat, once a trade is entered and let's say it exits 30 minutes later with profit, will the EA retry to enter again on the same day? No. I don't know. Actually, no, it might do, yeah. I honestly don't know the answer to that. If you can find an occurrence of that actually happening, test it in the back tester. I mean, for me, it's got to move back at least a third of an ADR to get me out of the trade. So what you're saying is price would have to move up an ADR, down a third of an ADR, then move back up at least another third of an ADR, and then give you a move down strong enough to give you a reverse alert for the second time in one day. Yeah, so that's a 1.6 ADR move in a day. 160% of its average daily range in one move like that. I don't think you'll find that will happen very often. But if it does, If you can find an instance of that happening, I mean, there isn't one on this chart, but if you can find an instance of that happening, test it in the back tester. I honestly don't know the answer to that question. In theory, I guess it probably would. Tamo, Bitcoin Bitcoin pumping nicely. Is it? Pumping? Is it putting nappies on? Pampers are a form of nappy in the UK. Bitcoin pumping nicely. Yeah, it will be. Because the indices are going up. So Bitcoin will do the same as the indexes. So we just had a propulsion test. Sellers started to step in. We've got a test back down here as well. So we'll see if we can get a push up. If we can get pushed back up into that propulsion gap, it's a lovely short back down into there. But yeah, I don't know Bitcoin. Well, I wouldn't say that's pumping nicely, would you? This is day 3 of a sideways move. If it doesn't break that high, it's coming down here. But I don't know how it works with propulsion because I don't trade it. So I don't trade things I don't understand. Pound odd. Mitchell, from experience, do you find any broker that offers better execution and quotes? Darwin-X is a brilliant broker. I've got an account with Darwin-X. Darwin-X is where I trade my S&P strategy, which is not running at the minute. But so yeah, Darwin-X is one of my brokers. Really good. 30-to-1 leverage, but yeah, fine. And execution's instant. They use dart pools for execution as well, so you literally get executed like that, instant. The other thing about Darwin-X is they have an awful lot of institutional money running through Darwin-X. So although they are classed as a retail broker, they have an awful lot of institutional money. They also invest their own money, up to around about 5 million of their own funds in institutional trading strategies, which are traded through the Darwins. So they're a really good broker. If they gave me 100-to-1, the reason I was with Darwin for years, Darwin-X, and then all the new UK regulations came in, and I had to drop leverage with them, which is why I jumped ship to Axie. And then Axie started mucking me about, and so I jumped ship to Robo Forex. And when Robo Forex start mucking me about, I'll jump ship again. You have to jump ship all the time with brokers, unfortunately. Just one of the things you've got to do in this industry. Is there a way to get MT4 to take the same trades you make on a different account? Yep, you use Copy Trader. So use BlueFX. So go to BlueFX. No, don't go to BlueFX. Go to FX Blue. I was going to say, that's not the right one. FX Blue. And go to Trade Mirror. No. Apps. And the FX Blue Personal Trade Copy app. I'll give you a link. That's a completely free trade copier, and you can trade between accounts. But obviously, the trade copier has to be running on the same machine. So you just install 4 terminals, install the trade copier on the master, and then install the trade copier on the slaves. And I use this all the time for my funded accounts. So you basically just install the master and a slave on each machine you want to copy to, each account you want to copy to, and every trade taken on the master will be replicated across those slaves. It's all free. There's loads of paid ones out there as well, but the FX Blue is free, and I've used it for forever. I just see they've been taken over by IC Markets, or sponsored by IC Markets now. Oh, look, they've got a sentiment section. Well, I never. I didn't know they had a sentiment section. Aussie dollar CAD, 84.4. I'm going to have to do it this way. Aussie dollar CAD. Wow, that's very different. Where do they get this data from? Aussie dollar yen, 67% short. 71% short. Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, 49.50. 95. Wow, where's this data coming? It doesn't tell you where this. Oh, here you go. On the number of real money accounts, not demo, on the FX Blue, which are currently net long or net short. Wow, that's massively different. So basically, with FX Blue, they are predominantly an analysis tool, basically. So you can basically analyze all of your trades. So there's a similar sort of thing on my FX book, or FX, what's the other one? FX something or other. There's loads of them, but it's basically an analysis tool. So that sentiment that they've got running on here is obviously all of the traders that have got an FX Blue monitor on their accounts. So I guess it's all retail sentiment again. But theirs is, I guess this is maybe based on a very small data pool. 90% of their traders are short Euro US dollar. $87. So yeah, it's interesting. Mine runs on an accumulation of multiple sources, and I've not taken these guys into account. I don't know how many they've got. See, this could be based on 50 accounts for all I know. Better to get it from brokers, because obviously the brokers are based on thousands of accounts, which is obviously a lot more reliable. Anywho. Is your broker account CFD or spread? CFD. So yeah, always CFD. There's no point in using spread. Spread betting, basically, all you're doing is you're asking for a wider spread, which is fine, I guess. It doesn't make a lot of difference, but your execution will be terrible. That's the problem with spread betting, is the execution. As someone said earlier, you get requoted all the time. IG sentiment is also quite different too. Yeah, well, I mean, they are all different. That's why I use an amalgamation. So if you get them all, put them all together and take an average, that's the best way to do it. But they're always usually roughly, within 5 or 10%, because retail traders do the same thing, whether they're trading on IG, my FX book, or Robo Forex, or any other broker. They're all doing roughly the same thing most of the time, aren't they? So average is always the best. Right, so pound odd, 20 extension, so that'll be an entry shortly. M5 reversal long, it's an ADR hit, good propulsion gap targets to the upside, multiple ones as well, so looking good for longs. Nicely extended on the 5 minutes still and embedded down there, so as soon as we get that reversal alert, that will be a nice little trade long. However, we've got this big old propulsion gap down there, 99% sure we're coming down to here. So it's a case of, are we going to get there first, or we're going to get there first? So reversal up into there, ADR today. If you don't get an exit today, or whenever you get in, you're going to need to get in again down here somewhere, and then take that long. We should get some strength more against the odd than anything else with the pound, because the pound's basically weak at the moment, but the pound should be stronger than the Australian dollar. So you're gambling. What, on a spread betting account? No, it's all the reason it's called a spread betting account Yeah, and I think this is a UK thing. I don't think you'll find this anywhere else in the world. The reason IG and some of these other brokers have spread betting accounts is because you put the word betting on it, it becomes gambling. Gambling is tax-free in the UK. Yeah. So these brokers like IG and that came up with hang on a minute. If we just turn trading into gambling, all of our punters won't have to pay tax. Obviously, knowing damn well that none of their punters make any money anyway, because most traders are gambling. But it became you don't have to pay tax on it type thing. But if you become successful in trading and it becomes your full-time income, i.e. as soon as you start earning more money from trading than you do from any other income sources in the UK, the trading becomes classed as your primary income and is taxable anyway. So even if you are a professional gambler, let's say you gamble on the horse racing or the football and you make a living out of it, you have to pay tax on all of that. Although gambling is tax-free in the UK, your main income isn't tax-free. So if gambling becomes your main income, like a professional poker player, you still have to pay tax on it. So there's absolutely no benefit whatsoever to having a spread betting account in the UK unless you are making around about 60% of your income trading. Let's say you make 50 grand. Yeah. Let's say you make 30 grand trading. So your total income is 80 grand. That is a good reason to use a spread betting account. But you'll find it very hard to professionally trade on a spread betting account because you get requoted all the time, as somebody said earlier. So I don't know. I don't think there's much point in it, to be honest. But that's what gambling is in the UK. That's why they call them spread betting accounts. So there you go. Pound odd, nice looking long. Pound CAD, same thing. Nice extension, just starting to get underway, coming down into this propulsion gap. You can see we've already had 2 bounces out of this. I suspect we'll fill it this time, so that'll be an ADR hit, potentially coming up to hit to the downside there. On the hourly, 4 hourly is just sideways, so no real advantage there at the moment. No reason to take a trade. Pound Swiss already got longs on, massive extension on this. Real rejection as well. Look, more Swiss franc strength coming through. So big wick up there. No entry. Or the candle's not held. So yeah, still coming down. Nice extended. You would have had a reverse alert on that, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So there's your reversal alert, your long. So potentially there's your retest, W pattern starting. See how that one holds up, but that looks good for a long. I'm already long on that with previous days entries anyway. Pound yen coming down fast and hard. So we've already looked at this one, haven't we? Targets to the downside. Loads of targets to the downside. So potentially look for a pullback drop. Pound New Zealand extended to the downside. Propulsion gap 175 ADR. That would be an ideal entry. We're below 80, so you can start monitoring this for a long now. And drop down M5 reversal alert. You're going to get one in a second by the looks of things. That's a really nice tight reversal as well. That could be a really quick exit, that one. Pound New Zealand. Pound US dollar. Extended to the upside. Just starting to roll over now. So we have taken that high. Orange. So we've just taken that high. So potentially pushing back down into that propulsion gap or back down into there at some point tomorrow, I would imagine. New Zealand dollar CAD. Gap fill just being completed at 125 ADR. Hourly RSI extension. Drop down M5. Just about to get a reversal potentially in a minute. That would have been nice. If that had made a new high there, that would have been a lovely little entry there. Yeah, so New Zealand dollar CAD 125 extension almost. Nice M pattern reversal already playing out. Haven't had the reversal alert yet on that one, however. New Zealand dollar Swiss. middle of nowhere. I've got buy on this at the moment, looking to come back up into that propulsion gap. So there's your support. Accumulation break. So looking to retest that area. 125 ADR on pound odd. Really coming down the pound, isn't it? Where did I get to? New Zealand dollar Swiss, didn't I? New Zealand dollar yen. Again, wow, look at this New Zealand dollar. So that yen, has that yen strength just disappeared? New Zealand dollar yen really pushing at the moment. So this, we've got a very, very strong New Zealand dollar at the moment, along with this strong Australian. So a lot of money coming into the Aussie as well. So New Zealand dollar yen, got short on that already, which was the RSI extension there on the hourly. Only just got it. So you've just got extended again and a reversal alert. So if you weren't in there, if you're trading H1M5, you probably are in here. Yeah, so the reversal alert would have been on that candle there. So that would have been your entry there. That's just become invalidated. They've just literally taken out the London high there, look. So your next reversal alert will be there. So entry is virtually the same today, regardless which one you took. That's sort of extended there. New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Wow. That's really out of the park, isn't it? So New Zealand dollar, US dollar, we got this big propulsion gap target here, which we're aiming for, which is 150 to 175. So that's a huge extension. 85. Don't get there very often, do you? So we've been there kind of once this year. Yeah, bang. So the difference between this extension here, we are in a downtrend. This extension here, we're in an uptrend. So the pullback is likely to be more shallow because we're probably going to put another leg in. Again, still don't know what's going on with this US dollar. So New Zealand dollar yen, RSI extension, and Euro New Zealand as well. So there you go. That's the RSI extension we're looking at. But yeah, so big move up there. That's ready for a short. Reverse alert's going to be there. It's plenty of downside. So down to the high there, which is yesterday's high, is 39 pips, which is over half an ADR. So that could well be a very nice quick in out retest. If we're going to continue, that would be where we'd look to bounce off the back of that news yesterday. So that looks a really nice looking short, big extension. If you want to trade prop as well, by the way, with the position trading strategy, using the 80 RSI extension, or even slightly higher, an 85 RSI extension, but instead of going in with a 0.25% risk, go in with a 0.5% risk. You're going to get less trades, but those trades are going to be much more reliable and easier to get out of. And the other thing about them is you are likely to get slightly more than half an ADR pullback on an extension of that size as well. So your drawdown will be a lot less. And obviously drawdown is the thing that kills people in prop. So I've said this morning in the live room this morning, I'm going to get some more evaluations with E8 set up. Or possibly my Forex funds 20k accounts, get 4 of them to run all the strategies on. But with the mean reversion ones, I'm probably going to try a little experiment of going with higher RSI extensions, so only using the 80s plus, but using 0.5% risk on half an ADR instead of a 0.25% risk. With the view basically being to take 0.5% per position. So I'd need to basically have 16 trades play out. So in the period of 30 days, I'm only looking for 16 trades. And it's how quick those 16 trades come around. So I'm going to do a little bit of testing first, just to see what the trade count difference is between the 75 and the 80 with the M5 mean reversion, just to see historically over the last sort of 6 months or so what it would be. But I've been watching these 80 levels, and quite often when you get the 80 pluses, the moves are so much more aggressive. Look, that one there, look, big aggressive pullbacks, which is where we are now. There's one there as well, look. Yeah, so if you measure all of those moves, that one there was 89. ADR on this is 67. Yeah, every single one of these moves was way beyond an ADR, way beyond. So my thoughts are less trades, higher quality on the prop accounts as an experiment with the position trading. And obviously, if it doesn't work out, it's not a problem. We're still going to scale in and scale out the position as normal, but with the hope that we get more single or two entry trades rather than having to take 3 or 4 positions on some of them. So I just want to put that out there, because obviously this is one of the contenders. This would be one of the trades that would be taken. So yeah, it's a really nice high extension on that. And obviously very rare when you get an extension that high and an ADR hit, you're not going to get a huge propulsion gap target to the downside. So you're always going to have a lovely target to aim for. And that target there, look, is 1 ADR. We know we're coming back there at some point. So can you hold out for the ADR? That's the question. US dollar CAD, obviously that's an extension to the downside. Again, same thing. This would be a beautiful contender for a single entry. So the last time we had an 80 extension was there. See, that is actually an example of one where you wouldn't have got it, would you? You'd have had to take multiples on that. You'd have got out there. So that would have been a week-long hold. But most of the time, you know, when you got these 80 pluses, it's a quick ADR, isn't it? We will see. So yeah, US dollar CAD obviously extends to the downside. US dollar Swiss, same story, massive extension, huge upside targets, waiting for that Swiss franc to weaken to come back up and get out of those. We've still got unfinished business at the highs as well up here, although that is virtually done, isn't it? That one's obviously complete. This one here is still a target as well. So lots of upside targets, and US dollar yen extended to the downside, pushing up at the moment off of ADR. Again, pulling out that propulsion gap, ADR up into there. And then obviously potentially back down into here. We've got that. That's kind of done. So don't need to worry about that one. So there you go. Quick overview of everything. Oil stuck today. No progress either way. So we had a big pump on the oil news yesterday. Broke that high. So I'm looking for a pullback to get in long. However, I'd be very, very scared getting in long with this gap. I just don't want to trade oil at the moment. I don't know what to do with it. It's all over the place. I haven't had to get this out all afternoon. None of it. No one's wanted it this afternoon, have they? I think this is the first session ever we haven't had the question. What is wrong with people today? Where is everybody? Why has nobody asked for gold? I feel offended. I'm going to look at it just out of spite now, because no one's asked for it. New Zealand dollar yen ADR. ADR upside. So nicely extended. Can you have a look at gold? Yeah, here we go. Now everyone's going to ask for it. Too late. I'll beat you to it today. Tony, how many pairs would you recommend to trade if you had a small account of 2 to 3K? Not so much for profit, but to limit drawdown and get comfortable drawdown. And getting comfortable with aggressive drawdown. So yeah, limited two pairs. Two pairs. So the 2 pair rule, as explained in the bootcamp, the 2 pair rule. So once you're exposed on a currency twice, that's it. You don't trade that currency anymore. Take every opportunity that comes your way. So if you get an ADR extension on New Zealand dollar yen and you're getting short, and then you get an ADR extension on US dollar yen and you get in short, that's it. No more yen. You're done. You're exposed on the yen. You can still trade another US dollar and you can still trade another New Zealand dollar, because you've only got one exposure US, one exposure New Zealand, but you're fully exposed on the yen. Yeah, so 2 exposure rule. If you want to keep it super safe and super tight, just trade a single currency. And if you want to keep it really tight, stay in line with basically the biases. We are starting to get some probable biases starting to appear now. So potentially with this US dollar, these might be wrong biases. So we need to wait and see what happens with that. But yeah, keep it to 2. See, now everybody's asking for gold. Can I check palladium? No. Don't think I got it. No. Silver and gold. I don't do palladium. I'd love to. I guess palladium's just another US dollar cross anyway, isn't it? So yeah, obviously loads of downside potential on gold. We're only going to get there if we get some US dollar strength, aren't we? So we've had an ADR hit today on gold. Already played out. M5 reversal alert. Well, it's not already played out actually. Half an ADR is 134, which is somewhere down at this support. So that would be your target. So get that gap fill done. But we've got gap fills galore to the downside on this, usually extended on the RSI. So yeah, drop, drop, drop. Short. All the time it's going up, I would keep shorting it. But then all the time it's going down, I would keep longing it. So, you know what I do. I do the opposite to everyone else. Why I make money. But there's much more targets to the downside on this. But as I say, this is a US dollar cross. So it's the same as everything else US at the minute. If the US is going down, this is going to go up. If we have a safe haven run, this is going to go up. So difficult to tell if this is a safe haven run or if it's US dollar weakness. It's more likely US dollar weakness at the moment, isn't it? But there you go. But yeah, nice ADR hit on that today. M5 reversal alert. That's the first reversal alert you've had today. So you are short. Look at that. How that comes to life when the indices open. Look. Does that happen every day on gold? I don't pay any attention to it. Well, that's news. You can't really use that, do you? No, it doesn't do it every day, does it? Sort of, yeah. It does. Interesting. Gold comes to life when the index is open. Look. Sort of. So I don't know if anybody's tried it, but the opening range breakout EA actually has potential to be tradable on gold as well. There you go. Something else potentially to try. When in doubt, it's US dollar weakness. Yeah, it is at the moment. Difficult to tell with this US at the minute. It's very, very, very... it's teetering on the edge at the moment. These fundamentals are just teetering on the edge. We're just waiting for them to fall over. Everything's going the right way. It's just everything is going the right way at the moment. And it's just, you just know they're not going to increase interest rates. The next time we get the interest rate announcement and it isn't an increase, I think that's the nail in the coffin. So we'll see. But US dollar CAD 125 ADR. Still pushing down. I'm definitely going to get in another position on that. Miles. Right, so that's all I've got for you today. Dow. I am still in long. So I'm in long on the Dow still. Struggling a bit here now. But I think we're probably going to get this gap fill done today. Wouldn't be surprised if we don't see an ADR hit today on this. But it's going to need this US dollar to continue to be weak. So we'll see if we get that continuation. We've got Nasdaq's hit ADR. We haven't seen an ADR hit on the indices for a while, so that's a positive sign. We've got some volatility entering back into the market. Brian, the plot thickens. Yeah. If only we worked in the Fed, we would make millions. Right. So that's all I've got for you today. Oh, God. This is going to be a down day, look. Boo. I haven't had a down day for weeks, have we? Well, the H1M5 hasn't had a down day for weeks. ADR just doesn't have down days. ADR is the strategy. ADR, I'd probably say I don't think ADR has had a down day for 6 weeks. The whole of March, I don't remember seeing a down day on the ADR strategy. It's done 9% this month, did 26% or 23% in March. And I don't think it had a down day. It might have had one, maybe, but and it hardly takes any drawdown. Such a good strategy. We banked some more on hedging as well, but there's some drawdown on this. There's too many pairs on this. With the hedging set file, I think you've got to be very careful with this hedging one. You've got to limit the pairs on it. Definitely 28, you can't run it on everything. You should never run it on everything, but obviously it's going to get well overexposed. Yeah. Actually, it's all going in the right direction on the yen, so that lot could all turn into profit very quickly. But yeah, because the problem with this is because you're taking every single opportunity in the market, you are going to get overexposed because at every point you're going to either be going long or short on everything, aren't you? So over time, this will build to a point where you will constantly be exposed in one direction or the other. If something pushes for 2 or 3 days in one direction, you're just going to get exposed on everything, aren't you? So you've got to make sure you limit your pairs with this hedging set file. And this is the reason I didn't trade the M5 hedging set file after doing it, because it's brilliant and it banks really quickly, but in a squeeze you get really stung. So you've got to be very, very careful with that one if you are trading it. Make sure you limit it. I covered this last week, didn't I? You've got to make sure you cover your risk responsibly. I just went in 5 trades based on RSI with 1 to 2 risk. That's all for today. Excellent. Good day. Good job. You went in with 5 trades on RSI with 1 to 2 risk. Do you mean 2 to 1 or 1 to 2? If you're risking 1 to 2, that's obviously negative, but there's nothing wrong with negative. If you're position trading, there's nothing wrong with using a negative return at all, because you don't take the losses, do you? So negative returns, I use negative return. I use 0.5% risk on ADR, and I use 1/3 of an ADR as a target. So I'm targeting less than I'm risking. And hey, it's only done 35% in the last 6 weeks. It's because everybody else is trying to get 2 to 1 risk reward, and they never get there. Right, so that's all for today. I'll be back tomorrow at the same time. 7:50 in the morning for the Frankfurt session. I'll be back at 2:20 for New York. We'll see how we get on. But keep an eye on all of these. There's opportunities galore today, all over the place. But a lot of this movement, I think, is being caused by the US dollar. So we have to be a little careful that this US dollar isn't pushing continuously. So if we don't get any kind of pullback or stall tomorrow on the US dollar, I would probably think quite seriously about scaling out a little bit quicker on these US dollar pairs, because there is a possibility that this weakness is starting to creep in now ahead of the May increases, or rather stalls, which is quite possibly what we're going to see. So All right, so have a good day. If you need me, I'll be in the Telegram group. Otherwise, I'll be back tomorrow, same times, and I will see you guys then. Have a good one.